Hello, doers. My name is Arman. I'm an account manager here in the Dubai office. Firstly, thank you for tuning in today and hope you guys have been having a great Odoo experience so far. Today, what we'll be talking about is forecasting and budgeting. Now, these are terms that you and I are probably already pretty familiar with. Whether it's forecasting your revenue for the year, for the quarter, or for the month, or budgeting for any planned or unplanned expenses for that duration of time. These are functions that we all have in our businesses. We'll be talking about these specific topics in link to Odoo spreadsheets. Now, for those of you who've been up to date with what Odoo is up to, or for those who were actually present at the last year's Odoo experience, one of the things that you might have noted is that Spreadsheets was one of the latest features added in Odoo version 14. Odoo within itself does have forecasting and budgeting capabilities. That being said, a lot of different businesses have so many different ways in which they analyze their own data. So they have all these variables and all these metrics that they put this data up against, that it becomes impossible for these variables to be incorporated as a part of the actual ERP system in itself. That's where features like Spreadsheets or Excel or Google Spreadsheets come into play. You take this data, you put it over there, you put it up against these different factors that I was speaking about to kind of make projections and make smart business decisions based on that data that you're getting from your ERP system. So having spreadsheets within Odoo seemed like a smart move to do because now you reduce your reliance on these outside softwares like Microsoft Excel and actually work within the Odoo environment itself, while keeping a very familiar interface for you as well. So you have the similar formulas that you're all used to using on Excel or Google Spreadsheets within the ERP system itself, without actually having to export and import data, which is quite a tedious task. And it's almost impossible to have an analysis with real-time data in that way. So having the spreadsheets within Odoo kind of pushes for that integrated solution. So the whole point of having an ERP solution is to avoid import and export of data. So having spreadsheets solves that issues for us. So as I mentioned, the core applications of Odoo are kind of linked to the spreadsheets feature. So the spreadsheet feature itself sits within the documents application. So if you go into the documents, that's where all your spreadsheets would be, and it draws data from all your different applications through your Odoo interface. So anywhere where you have the pivot table view, you can actually go ahead and view it and insert that data into Odoo spreadsheets. So now let's talk in a specific case where we have a client who's a non-government organization. This NGO has different projects running in developing countries, and they allow businesses and individuals to donate towards their projects. They have different sales teams set up in different countries. So there is a sales team in America, a sales team in Australia, and one in Europe as well. Now, as a manager sitting in the headquarters, I need to be able to see what are my forecasted donations for those territories and how we're doing against the targeted donations that we wished for. The sales targets, the targets which I'm speaking about, are set based on last year's performance, last year's donations that we got, growth rate taking into account any additional marketing activities that I might have done this year, and seasonal results. So as every business, every month or every quarter has a different impact on your revenue based on the conditions then. So we'll be taking those into account as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into the software. So here we are on our Odoo homepage. So let's go straight into our CRM application. As you can see, we have a pipeline set up new potential donors, donors who are interested, a proposition stage, and the donation accepted for those guys who have already donated. Let's take a look at our sales teams. We have 3 different sales teams. America. For America, the salesperson is Brian. For Australia, we have Gabriel. And for Europe, we have Ryan. So let's go back into our pipeline, and let's just remove this filter over here to be able to see all the different opportunities I have. So this is all the opportunities for all 3 salespeople and all 3 sales teams. Let's view this data in the pivot table view. So over here on the top, we have the pipeline, the new interested, proposition, donation accepted. I'd actually like the pipeline to be visible on the other axis, so I'm just going to go and flip that. And on the top over here, I would like to view it by sales team and further view it by expected closing for those opportunities that we just took a look at. So over here, we have the expected revenue, taking into account any probability percentages that we might have used in the CRM as well. And as you can see, September, October, November, December, the coming months. And I'm going to go ahead and expand all this data for the other sales teams as well. So let's go ahead and insert this data into the spreadsheet. So as I mentioned, you can go ahead and create a new spreadsheet at any given time, or you can go ahead and insert this data into an existing one too. So let's go ahead and do that for now. So yep, now the same data that we're looking at over there, we have it visible in our spreadsheets interface. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a few changes over here. For example, I don't need this totals row, so I'm just going to go and delete row 8. Donations accepted is essentially my actuals, the guys who have made the donation. So I'm just going to put that in over there. And yeah, rest I'm going to leave it the way it is. Now we need to set targets for these specific months. So let's go ahead and put that over here. Our targets. Now, how do we calculate our targets? Our targets are based on the performance last year and a few other factors. So let's take a look at our 2020 stats that I've put in from before itself. Over here, we have the 3 different sales teams, America, Australia, Europe, for these different months in 2020. These are the revenues from last year. I'm taking into account a growth rate of 20%, so that's a multiplier of 1.2, and a factor, the seasonal factors I was talking about, every month might be different in terms of revenue. For example, December is the holiday season, so more people are likely to donate during that month, so it has a slightly higher factor from previous results. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this data in order to determine my targets for 2021. So let's go ahead and do that. Now my targets will be equal to, for example, so now we're looking at America for the month of September 2021. So that'll be my revenue in America into my growth rate of 1.2 and into a factor of 0.8 for the month of September. Now that gives me my target for the month of September. I can actually just drag and put the same formula on the other months for the same sales team. Now let's do that for Australia too. Again, month of September for Australia, $2,100 into a growth rate of 1.2 and multiplying that further by 0.8. That gives me $2,016, and I'm going to apply that for the rest of the months in Australia. And let's go ahead and do the same for Europe. $4,200 into 1.2 and further multiply that by 0.8. And let's just drag that across. So as you can see, my different targets have been set based on the past data that I already have from the previous years. Now, apart from targets, I actually want to see my percentage of target achieved. So let's go and put percentage of targets. This is actually something that will be set. So let's make that into bold and make it a formal column. All right. So these are your targets that have been set right now. So let's take a look at your percentage of your targets. So for the month of September, my targets would be my actuals minus my target divided by my target itself. Actually, sorry. Yeah. There we go. So it's giving me 0.52 because the format is in numbers. So let's go ahead and change that to percentage. So it shows me that I'm 52% above my target, and I can apply that across all the regions, across all the months. So as you can see, in October, minus 83.53%, and respective months similarly. Apart from this, I also do want to see the dollar amount I am off my target. So that'll be a rather simple calculation as well. So simply my actuals minus my targets. Sorry. Let's just put that again. My actuals minus my target. So as you can see, for the month of September, I'm actually $1,250 above my target, and I can go ahead and apply the same formula similarly to all the other months over here. And so now what we've successfully done is taken the data from last year, forecasted my targets, and kind of budgeted and seen exactly what is in as of today and what is supposed to be coming in terms of my expected revenue. So an additional thing that you could do within the spreadsheets feature is some conditional formatting. So let's get into that. So for these range of cells that I have, which is from B9 to M10, I'm going to apply a rule that if the values are greater than 0, I'd like to view my data in a nice green color. So let's go ahead and click that. But also for the same cells, if it is less than 0, I'm going to go ahead and view it in a red color. Actually, red looks a bit dangerous over there. So let's go for orange. So we have now, as you can see, we've done some conditional formatting to view the data and easily capture what exactly I would need from here. Now let's just view it in a nicer view. You can hide the grid lines and you can actually view this data. And another thing that I mentioned that I was talking about data being real time, exactly how it really affects your reporting. So let's just go into your CRM application real quick. Sorry. Yeah. And let's create a new opportunity. All right. Let's say I'm donating, and the salesperson, let's say Gabriel from Australia, actually got me to donate, and I'm donating $300 this September towards the NGO's cause. So obviously when you're actually in the workflow of an organization, it would there'd be a transaction for the donation. But right now we're doing a CRM analysis, so we're just going to go ahead and click donations accepted, and now it's one good display of our gamification tool over there, and let's view exactly how it affects our reporting that we just created. So let's put the expected closing as September 30th. That's how the dates are categorized. And go into our pipeline. As you can see, the actuals for September for Australia, that was Gabriel who helped us out over there. The actuals right now are 3,410. So I'm going to go ahead in data and refresh all data. As you can see, the data is automatically updated with my latest donation, taking the total up to 3,710. So super easy. No more headache of you taking your data out of Odoo and working on it in an isolated environment. Now you just have the advantage of having the spreadsheet feature within Odoo. Also, this data that I'm currently looking at, obviously there's not too many numbers over here, but as we're all too familiar with spreadsheets, as the data increases, as more and more categories are made, filtering through data is very important as well. So you can actually go into the filter tool over here. For example, if I just want to see a specific sales team in this case, so I'm just going to put sales team. The relational model will be the sales team as well, and I can go ahead and save it. So whenever I just want to draw data, for example, of Australia, I can go ahead and just search that in the filters, and I don't really need to see the clutter of data from the other sales teams. I can just draw the data for this specific month, for this specific sales team. So again, some more options for you to kind of sort through the information you have in front of you. So now we took a look at the CRM analysis to kind of forecast and give targets to my salespeople, and now I just need to know as to how I can reward these guys who are working so hard to get donations for the NGO. So I will be paying them with additional commissions in regards to how good they are actually doing. And as my finance person needs to be able to see as to what commissions we are paying off for the specific months, the process needs to be really easy and quick. So let's go ahead and take a look at the commission structure we've set up over here. The commission structure is rather simple in this case. The salespeople are assigned a target, example 2,000. In this case, we've already set up a target in the previous section. Now, when they pass the 100% mark of donations, their commission is donations or revenue into 0.20. In a case where they're below the 100% mark, their commission is equal to revenue 0.10. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how we could calculate that in the system very easily. So to do a sales analysis, I'm going to jump into our sales application, remove this filter that I have set up over here, and take a look at some of the sale orders that I have from September. So they're my salespeople, Gabriel, Ryan, Brian. I am going to go ahead and again view this data in the pivot table view. I need to see it by salesperson. So I have Brian, Gabriel, and Ryan over here, and the totals. So I'm just going to put in which month it is, so it's a bit clearer for us as well. So obviously right now there's just the data for September, but once you have data across different months, it's easier to categorize this way as well. So let's go ahead and the same way insert this information into the same spreadsheet that we were actually using earlier, because we can actually use some of the information that we got over there. Again, going to make a few changes. I do not need this total section over here, so I'll go ahead and delete row 6, and also these two columns kind of display the same information, so I can just go ahead and delete column C2. Now, when it comes to commissions, commissions are reliant on the targets. So let's put another column over here for our targets for the month of September. So it's easy for us now because we have already set it up in the previous sheet over here. So for the month of September, for Brian, who is in our team in America, the target was 2,400. For Gabriel, who is our salesperson in Australia, the target was $2,016, and for Ryan in Europe, the target is $4,032. So now we've set up our targets. Let's speak a little bit more about the commission structure we spoke about a minute ago. So let's put it over here. Commissions. So the rules are simple. It's whenever the revenue is greater than 100%. 100% of target, the multiplier is 0.2, and when the revenue is less than 100%, the multiplier would be 0.5. 0.10. So now we have a multiplier set up over here. So we have a total, we have our targets. Let's put in our percentage achieved. All right. So now over here, again, similar calculation to what we had earlier. We will have our actuals minus our targets, further divided by our target again. Now I'll apply the same to the other salespeople as well, and let's format this into percentages. So as you can see, Brian's 41% above, Gabriel is 69.15, and Ryan is 24% below target. Let's put in the same conditional formatting that we used earlier as well. Is greater than when we have passed the 0% mark, which is essentially your target. We'll view it in a green color, and otherwise, if it's less than 0, let's view it in the orange color. All right, so now we have our conditional formatting done over here too. Now let's put in the column that we need to calculate, which is commission. Let's just put cons payable. All right. Now this column is essentially based on what the revenue is against the targets and multiplied by the commission factor. So we're going to use some if formulas over here. So commissions payable would be, let's put if, so our target, our percentage achieved, which in this case would be D3, is greater than 0. Our revenue would be multiplied by 0.2. Simple. And if our, which is our percentage achieved, which is D3 again, is, sorry, okay, achieved is less than 0, we will be taking the revenue and multiplying it by 0.10. So essentially that should be giving you your commission amount, which is in this case $680. So again, I can go ahead and apply that over here. Reason why I didn't is because it shifted these relational fields down too. So I'm just going to go ahead and adjust that, and yeah, so this one should be, if it should be B8, and this one would be B9 to give you like, sorry, B9. Okay, I multiplied it into 9 accidentally. It's supposed to be B9. B8, sorry. And same thing over here. We're going to go ahead and multiply it by B8 if the revenue is above 100%, and multiply it by B9 if the revenue is below 0%. So very easily we have drawn some data of what we have to, we've drawn some data from our sales application, from the targets that we've set on the other spreadsheet, and we've very easily calculated the commission that we needed to. So yeah, so as you can see, very easy to be able to fulfill these functionalities that most businesses do have when it comes to a sales perspective. I always like hiding the grid lines when I'm viewing it at the end. Looks much neater. And also an additional feature that I think I didn't cover earlier is you can actually view this data in a chart format too. So for example, let's go ahead and insert a chart. It's going to be a bar chart, and the data series I have right now would be my commission amounts. All right, and the categories labels would be my salespeople, which is Brian, Gabriel, and Ryan. And I'm going to hit confirm, and there we go. we have a bar graph as to how much commissions we are paying to my salespeople on for the month of September 2021. Again, I can change this chart into a pie chart if that's what is preferred by my management too. So, as you probably saw, it's very easy to take information in Odoo and further analyze it and use the spreadsheets feature to better forecast and budget for your business. This case that we just covered is just an example. The possibilities of what you can achieve with it are rather, I would say, endless. So if what we'd say is try it out yourself. If you're already an Odoo user, if you have the Documents app, just go in, use the Spreadsheets feature. If you're not an Odoo user, we do offer a 15-day free trial, so please feel free to create an account and try the solution out yourself, install the Spreadsheets feature. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully this was a little helpful for you guys, and there's another talk on Odoo Spreadsheets, more on the lines of more advanced features and some of the new capabilities that have just been introduced in version 50.